Hello guys, this is Kobe here with another not so quick analysis. This time I'm gonna be talking about FaZe on the Nuke. They made miracle at the major with this Nuke. They played 8 times, they only lost 1 time against Flux in the stage 1, and they also had that win against Head Kennedy in the 1 and 2 game. Karrigan went for the clutch, history was defused without the smoke, he had the smoke but didn't use it. Less than 1 second in the clock, Karrigan saved the day. They won against Vitality, so pretty respectable Nuke. But here, what I want to talk is that they have protocols in the Nuke. They played standards, they have Frozen, the Ramp, they have Broky, an excellent AWP. But in the end, they had so much of this magical, lucky moment, whatever you may call. So it was a combination of being good and also being on the right place on the right time. After all, this is FaZe magic that we are talking about, especially on the Nuke. Starting with the profile, how they played this magical, how they enabled the possibilities to make the magic happen. Because magic and luck by itself doesn't win games. What win games, it is protocols, it is high plays. So for this, they had this A control as the profile. Always jcobb plus twists in the control on the A side on the A silo. And then we have the yard control with Karrigan with Brook sometimes playing around you in the secret in the garage position. And then the monster, the rank player, Frozen. He himself demolished all the games with the ramp positions. And the thing about the FaZe approach, it was that Brook, that was the player that had slow tournaments in the past, it was struggling, played perfect. What you expect from the AWP at FaZe? You get an information, you get some kills, you help your team, and this enable multiple positions on the ramp, on the heaven. That is my position that I most like about Brook. It was this heaven play that gonna show. It was the garage. It was the Aggro Yard. It was these minor positions from Brook. Starting with the AWP Heaven, as I said, this is my favorite position from FaZe during the major. And just to be clear, all the positions are just the major I'm talking about. I focus in the major because FaZe had a slow start, had some struggles finding the performance with jcobb, with twists. So I try to focus in the major because this is what really matters. Now returning to the position, Brook played this heaven, but he played heaven on the both sides. Inside a side, giving up the control for jcobb plus twist, so they give full control on the A side when he was inside. But he also play outside to help Karrigan. So when you move in the heaven, you take out this lane of control, so Karrigan could push it. Sometimes you go to the silo, to the red box, to return for the secret, for the garage positions. So he could be in and out, constantly on this movement. And then you have the ramp position with Frozen. Frozen is spectacular. The highest profile player for FaZe Clan on the Nuke, especially on the CT side. For me, it was Frozen. Frozen break the game because he locked that position. Every single position, you could pass on the ramp. Engage from lobby, engage from the radio. No. Frozen wins the duels, Frozen wins the kills. And that's you return it for the next position, the slow control. Because sometimes going for the aggressive, going for the flash plays, well, it doesn't work every single time. Things like Vitality, things like Flux that showed a good Nuke, that it was only the only team to win this Nuke against FaZe during the major. You sometimes you play safe. And how you play safe with FaZe, that is spectacular for me because you slow down, twist is moving from a main, from the squeak position, run to the inside bomb side. jcobb, instead of staying behind the box, move for the side for the HUD position. You throw more smokes, smoke squeak, smoke radio, smoke lobby. You have a Frozen playing from the downside, from this box instead of from the more aggressive position. So we slow down. And then we have a Broky, sometimes with WP, most of the time with WP in this position, by either garage or either behind this box right here. To open once again, Karrigan. Because Karrigan would follow these attacks, would follow these leads. And it was very interesting personally for me to see because what I expected from FaZe before the major, it was aggro plays. Because they had a lot of times, they had that crazy moments that they were playing with Rain instead of jcobb, they had these mixed feelings. And they showed very well. Also, the Aggro Yard. This kind of play, it requires you to be a cold man because you have to start in aggro position with the WP, so Broky right here pushing up the aggressive and return. And the reason why you return is because you doesn't want to risk your WP. Broky had a lot of impact with WP, either by kills, either by information, either by just moving around and being one presence on the map, so the players could be aware that, well, WP on the garage, not full on garage. We split B, maybe go for a smoke on the ducket, but if you go for a smoke on the ducket, try to the B side, right here, well, twist is on the spot. So, this kind of game, this kind of protocols, because as I said, magic and luck, it is something you need to complement it with skills. And how you make skills is how you follow protocols. Protocols that FaZe followed every single time. You have the aggressive time, Brook takes the aggressive open, and then we return. It doesn't stay for a secondary kill, it doesn't stay for 3 4 seconds more on the clock. No, you return. You only do crazy stuff. You only go for the magical moment when you need, when you're in a clutch, when a 3v5, 2v4 position. And that's what made Fate so good. Now for the WP ramp, and once again, our boy Frozen, spectacular position, following up the support from Broke. Imagine you have a support of Broke as you support with the WP. Well, Frozen had it. And Frozen took the opportunity. Frozen took the aggressive move on the radio, on the lobby, on the trophy position. He went all over. And when he went down this position, well, you got the kills. And now something that FaZe also did in some positions that I really like, it was this movement right here. When you go for the A ducket right here, engage and return for the secret from behind because you need to cover the heaven. And the player that was cover heaven, it was Karrigan this position to cover up heaven. So you needed to have this pressure on the yard control because this was the main protocol, the main idea for FaZe clan on the city side. Strong A plus yard control. And then we have the control, you close the map. Just to say something, I saw a few positions with solo AWP on the ramp without frozen, sometimes from the side from Broky, but didn't like. Even though I really like this side AWP, for the way FaZe played, I guess it was more experimental, not to the main attack roach. It was at least a few rounds. Now to how to counterplay, how you should be playing as this side against FaZe. First of all, you attack yard. I know I just said they control the region, you have the WP, you have a Karrigan the Rev in the Heaven position, whatever. One player silo, that's why you have this light blue. Make your WP, make your main rifler on the silo position, top silo. Make the smoke wall traditional, 2 smoke here, sometimes a 3rd smoke here if you want to push in the garage position. Also have 1 lurker radio. Very important because you want to know if frozen it is on the aggressive move. So you move your lurker, maybe a flash, maybe a molotov, maybe a smoke, whatever. You need to do something on the radio towards the ramp. See, so you lurk your radio. Another kind of play that I really like, that's why I'm just gonna erase all the zero because the main player should be yard attack. Just 1 second. Here. No, sorry about that. It should be this purple. Yeah, for me it is purple, pink, purple, whatever color. You smoke is quick. You smoke the ducket, then go and engage right here. Because even though I said that sometimes they would call for these rotations on their side, it was most of the time ignored. So go for it. Exploit this vision phase, clan, exploit this position. And it's also how I think you should be playing against teams that really have control the A side, especially when you have someone who really impacts on the ramp. As I said, Frozen, he locked ramp. If I'm not wrong, he had 1.60 rating, something like that. It was crazy, his stats on the ramp attacks. He won duels, he went for aggressive, he won trades, he clutch kills, he had everything. So when a player has this kind of impact, ignore it. It is 1/3 of the map if Not one third. Well, for Nuke, it is one third of the openings. So ignore ramp. Forget about this shit. Go for the regions. Go for a split A. Maybe two players here, maybe two players hutch, two players squeaky, and then one lurker on the outside on the yard position. Go for rushes on the yard. Whatever. Ignore ramp. It doesn't need to meet frozen every single time. This was one of the mistakes that teams like Navi, like Mouse did. They would challenge, even though Mouse had a lot of success. They had 8 or 9 rounds this side against FaZe, excellent. Now, just for a quick break, guys, remember, drink water. Just to give you an extension of how hot it is in Brazil right now. Yesterday, it was the hottest day of the year in my city. And we were 6 days from the end of the year, so really, really hot. So, guys, please drink water, remember. Now, going for the T side, starting with the profile, how FaZe played. FaZe did something really funny because when you, for those that are like statistic people that really like numbers, Twist is, well, have a slow start on the CT, didn't play very well. Meanwhile, on the T side, another history. It was a monster. He went for the opening kills, even though he has a low success rate. I don't know the number, but I'm pretty sure by the eye test it was less than 50. I will check on the ALTV. 33? Yeah, 33. Something like 33%, really low win rate on the opening those, but he went for it. He had a high attempt. And the reason why he had a high attempt was because of the yard control. Twist, it is the main on the yard, followed by Karrigan, followed by another player, but he took the aggression and he was traded a lot also. So just looking by the win rate on the opening doors, it isn't a good metric. You need to follow what is happening after the death, after the kill. It is information, it is a trade. What is achieving with these openings? And well, he achieved a lot of impact. And then we have the A attacks, they split. They really like two players here, one player here, going from the heaven position, maybe 3A to B, sorry, 3A to yard. And also the tempo and the radio in the lobby. FaZe often spends a lot of time in planning the attack, You put one player on the end of the radio to close the ramp, so the ramp player can't push, like Frozen would do as the CT. So you lock down this position, you have the space to throw your utility, throw a Molotov, throw a smoke on the squeaky, throw a Molotov behind the box, whatever. You have time, you have space. And when FaZe had the time and space, they won the round. Starting with the slow yard at 2A, as I said, the full control from the lobby, from the radio position, from the trophy position, control the region, make the ramp close, engage on the A side by Squeak. Meanwhile, the yard players, that is Twist, as I said, the Twist, it is the main yard player, followed by Karrigan with a great support, with a great trade kills. He had a lot of trade kills during the games, especially against that Vitality game, a fantastic approach from Karrigan. Rotate against also the Navi game. He had a lot of this kind of plays. So they would rotate towards heaven and split 3 on the squeaky, maybe 2 squeaky, 1 hutch if they want to do this split. 2 from heaven. Easy peasy engagement, easy plenty. Play for the retake in the city side. Very hard to play on this retake for this A silo. Now for the split A. And this is what I said, make one player close the radio entrance, close the ramp. In this case, we have Twist closing the ramp. So Twist would close down. So he would spend more time on this part of the map, on this region, really forcing for the city doesn't push against you, because then we have time to do what? Molotov behind box, a Molotov on the open, a flash on the hut, 2 players on the squeak position, in this case, Broky plus Karrigan, then Frozen plus jcobb going from the rut. So split A. 2 hut, 2 squeaky, 1 lurker. The lurker even can engage on the hut position because it is the closer one, but it is better for this late lurker to enter really late on the round, wait to flank the rotations, to cut out the rotations, because when the CT is going to retake, they will find duel, at least trying to find the space on the radar on the lobby position. Now for the yard rush, fast play. Sometimes you play slow, sometimes you play fast, but FaZe Clan really had this on the line. You push 4 players on the rush. After you really control on the yard position with 4 players, you have a few options. Option A, going on the B side, duck it A, duck to B, control, engage on the ramp. And by the way, this was the round against Red Kennedys, for going for the OT. This was spectacular because they had the bomb, they had all the moments, they had Karrigan going from ramp to avoid the defuse. And once again, one lurker. Because this is the secondary play. Secondary play, instead of going to the B route, move your place towards garage, towards secret, and then garage. Stay your place in this part of the map. Engage A main, Raven, whatever. You still have a few options. So the reason why you keep the lurker outside this combat, outside this crazy engages, is because you want the information. And Froze, it is the best player for the information because he was on fire, he was winning duels, he was winning kills. So he could go for the magical moment. The 2 kills, the 1 kill, the 3 kills, whatever. He had the opportunity for this moment. When you have the opportunity with a high skilled player, he more than less take out these duels. You win this duel. So it is crucial to have this lurker. It can be a risk movement. Yes, for sure. Not about it. But it is more pleasant to have. I prefer the situation at least. Ramp attack. Ramp attack, once again, few options FaZe Clan had. You have the trident here. 3 players on the radio. Engage on the ramp. Fast Molotov. Engage conquer ramp. But what you also had, it was a lurker yard. Always Twist. Twist was the main yard player for them. Once again, he can go B, he can scout. The same thing I said about Frozen on the previous position. He could go scouting, movie, helping the attack, being support. And talking about support, we had Karrigan. Karrigan made magic. Because you control the team as the IGL, since you are the last man, you have the tempo, you have the protocols to say, hey, Frozen, hey, jcobb, no, not push, slow down. Hey, Broky, forward. So since you are the last man, you have the utility, you have this tempo to talk. That's why this is so clever about FaZe, because they fit the role so well sometimes in the players, and Karrigan made so magic in this moment that we doesn't need to have 4 players in the ramp. 3 players ramp, 1 outside on the yard, and then Karrigan. Pro the utility, whatever, stay on the A. You have time, you have a lot of things to do. And now how to counter this play. First thing, duck rotation. FaZe could attack A or B. So what you want to have is your A main player to be on this quick position, to go down duck it, to go here, here, or sometimes go in the secret position from below, sorry. So the first thing you have to do is duck rotation. You have a player very active, not just the anchor, because unlike FaZe play SCT with the dual anchor on a slower position without these rotations, no. If you want to play against FaZe, go for fast rotations, go for duck rotations. The another play, in my opinion, it is this purple, blue, purple, whatever. The yard position. When you have your yard player, you want to play behind the box. I think that is the best option because Twist is gonna rush down, followed by Karrigan in this position. Sorry, a K here, a T here, about Twist. You have the smoke wall because every single time they would go for the smoke wall. So you break the smoke with a nade, throw the nade here, break in and open. So on this part of the map, on this region of the light blue, I think that isn't the best option. It is the clever option, in my opinion. To hold the angles against on the movement, on the speed that FaZe Clan players would move. And also, since we are talking about the duck rotation, play one player behind the wall. Simple, right here. Hold the angle because, as I said, they go for the yard rush. They go for this fast play. So since you already have one play position and there, even in the early seconds of the round, it becomes easier to play against. And now let's talk about the yellow movement. Just eraser. Here. that is the strong A position. How you make a strong A position? First of all, side ramp. I know that Frozen had a lot of success in this part of the map, but I think that it's preferable to play on the side against FaZe. And the reason why is that you are near enough ramp to make impact to win this duel, maybe with a smoke here, maybe with a flash here, and also near enough to connect on the A side. Since they would do this crazy split A, this is slow down with 3 players here, 2 players on the outside, on the yard position. You are ready enough to be in the 2 positions, both ramp and connect on the A side. That's why you have this strong A, you have the A main player. A main player follows the same protocol. You can engage on the yard position to help to sustain the fire from the blue player, or even go behind the secondary box, go on the squeak position to engage. So you have all these options with the yellow players, side ramp to connect on the A side, and also in the main position, same stuff, connect inside or outside. And then the solo anchor, not solo because you have 2 players with you, but the traditional anchor, not enough to talk because he's there. Every single team plays the same setup because it is impactful, it is helpful. And that's it, guys. Happy holidays for everyone. Hope you enjoyed the content. See you even this year. I think that I have one video to record this year. That's it. Bye bye. And it's really hot. Sorry if I slow down my voice a few times. It's really, really hot. I have to turn off the fan to record. Otherwise, it's gonna be a. That's it.